Good morning, boys and girls, ladies and gents. Glad to see you. Glad to see that you're here this morning. I just realized as I was going on the stream, like I forgot my mask today, my gaiter. I usually put it on my neck, but yeah, I guess I made it all the way down here to the office without one. So we have a bunch of extra ones. I probably have one in my desk drawer here, so I do have one. But I don't know. It was just weird because I've been putting a mask around my neck for almost a year now, which is crazy. Crazy that it's been so long. Well, let's say good morning to everybody. So good morning, Cameron, Jaden, Kurt, Hannah, Rachel, Ethan, you might be in here, Aiden. Who else is in here? Wow, you guys have been talking for a while. I guess I'm late. McKenna, good to see all you guys. Glad that you're hanging out. Hopefully yesterday you were on the premiere video. It wasn't live, but I tried to film it as if it was live. Hopefully it felt live and you guys got in the chat and everything worked out for you, and you were able to do that. So today, this is live. We're back live again. We're back live, which is awesome. I posted the link on my Facebook page. I don't know if anybody's going to join from there, but I do encourage you guys. Let's try to grow this thing. We've been having a nice little time together, like the 15 of us or whatever that have been coming on here pretty regularly. But let's see if we can't grow this. I know a lot of students are in school, but we can share this with adults if they want to come join us as well. But just people, so we can get the scriptures out to people so that more people are reading God's word and more people are being influenced by God's word. It's a way for us to help to spread the word, to kind of do some evangelism, some free evangelism, just by posting a link either on your Instagram, your Facebook, Snapchat, your TikTok, whatever. You can just say, hey, every morning, 9 o'clock, we come together to read the Bible from 9 to 9:30-ish, and Pastor Mike reads to us. We can ask questions, pray for each other, look at the Word, and try to gain a deeper understanding of it. And I just think it would be a great thing for us to do. So I'm putting a little bit more effort into the tags and the descriptions and the titles and the thumbnails for these videos, and you guys can help out by, of course, smashing the like button, which is what you guys always do, which I appreciate that. But also, you can leave a real comment below the video, so not just in the chat. So like when the video's done, you can put a comment. That actually is a ranking factor for YouTube. And these are all things that I haven't, ever asked you guys to do before, but if you want to try to help grow this and get the algorithm to say like, hey, maybe these videos are actually good, you can leave a comment below. You can share this video and continue watching, hit the like button. Any kind of interactions like that are good. So let's get rolling. So yesterday I read through the first 9 chapters of Chronicles. We looked at the genealogies. I kind of talked through all those quickly. Hopefully you took some time on your own. Good morning, Kindle. Hopefully you guys took some time on your own to kind of read through all these genealogies and tribes and kind of saw what was going on here. But we really rolled all the way up into David. And so that's where we're going to pick up today. We're going to pick up at David. And I'm just going to go for about 25 minutes, and we'll see how far we make it. So we were reading 2 books at a time. Now we are just going to focus on Chronicles so we can knock it out. I have our reading sheet here, as you can see. We're trying to knock this out. So this is Chronicles, this section right here. And so we're going to get this little section filled out, and then we're going to jump over to Luke. So we want to try to get to Luke by December, and we got like 60-something chapters to read, so we got to get on it. But I think we can make it. The reason I want to get to Luke by December is so we can read the Christmas story around Christmas time. So let's roll. I got a straw today. I don't know if you guys remember last time I was drinking my coffee, I was like spilling all over my shirt. So when I used the Dutch Brothers cup, I am going with a straw so I don't spill. All right, I think that's enough stalling. Looks like the room is full. We got lots of people here. This is great. So let's read. David anointed king. Then all Israel gathered together to David at Hebron and said, "Behold, we are your bone and flesh in times past. Even when Saul was king, it was you who led out and brought in Israel. And the Lord your God said to you, you shall be shepherd of my people Israel, and you shall be prince over my people Israel." So all the elders of Israel came to the king at Hebron. And David made a covenant with them at Hebron before the Lord. And they anointed David king over Israel, according to the word of the Lord by Samuel. And David and all Israel went to Jerusalem, that is, Jebus, where the Jebusites were. I guess it could be Jabus, the inhabitants of the land. The inhabitants of Jabus said to David, "You will not come in here." Nevertheless, David took the stronghold of Zion, that is the city of David. David said, "Whoever strikes the Jebusites first shall be chief and commander." And Joab, the son of Zeruiah, went up first, so he became chief, and David lived in the stronghold. Therefore it was called the city of David. And he built the city all around, from Milo in the complete circuit. And Joab repaired the rest of the city, and David became greater and greater, for the Lord of hosts was with him. Now, these are the chiefs of David's mighty men, who gave him strong support in his kingdom, together with all Israel, to make him king. According to the word of the Lord concerning Israel, this is an account of David's mighty men. Jashobeam, a Hechemite, who was chief of the three. He wielded his spear against 300 whom he killed at one time. Man, he's quite the warrior. And next to him, among the three mighty men, was Eleazar, the son of Dodo. All right, I know some of you guys want to name your kids biblical names, but please don't name your kid Dodo, all right? I don't think it's going to go over well for them. The Ahoite. He was with David at Pas Damim, when the Philistines were gathered there for battle. There was a plot of ground full of barley, and the men fled from the Philistines, but he took his stand in the midst of the plot and defended it, and killed the Philistines, and the Lord saved them by a great victory. 3 of the 30 chief men went down to the rock to David at the cave of Aldum, and when the army of the Philistines was encamped in the valley of Rephaim, David was then in the stronghold, and the garrison of the Philistines was then at Bethlehem. And David said longingly, "Oh, that someone would give me water to drink from the well of Bethlehem that is by the gate." Then the 3 men broke through the camp of the Philistines and drew water out of the well of Bethlehem that was by the gate, and they took it and brought it to David. But David would not drink it. He poured it out to the Lord and said, Far be it from me before my God that I should do this. Shall I drink the lifeblood of these men? For at the risk of their lives they brought it. Therefore he would not drink it. These things did the 3 mighty men. Now Abishai, the brother of Joab, was chief of the 30, and he wielded a spear against 300 men and killed them, and won a name besides 3. He was the most renowned of the 30, and became their commander, but he did not attain to the 3. And Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, was a valiant man of Kabzeel. Or Kabzeel. I don't know why I said Kabzeel. Kabzeel, a doer of great deeds. He struck down 2 heroes of Moab. He also went down and struck down a lion in a pit on the day when snow had fallen, and he struck down an Egyptian, a man of great stature, 5 cubits tall. A cubit is about 18 inches, so do the math. What's 5 times 18? Divided by 12. The Egyptian had in his hand a spear, like a weaver's beam. But Benaiah went down to him with the staff and snatched the spear out of the Egyptian's hand and killed him with his own spear. These things Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, and won a name beside the 3 mighty men. He was renowned among the 30, but did not attain to the 3. And David set him over his bodyguard. The mighty men were Ashael, the brother of Joab, Elhanah, the son of Dodo of Bethlehem, Shamoth of Herod, Hazael, the Polonite, the son of Ikush. Okay, so they're just going to name all the guys, and I'm just going to stumble over all their names. So these are the 30 mighty men. All right? Chapter 12. Now, these are the men who came to David at Ziklag, while he could not move about freely because of Saul the son of Kish, and they were among the mighty men who helped him in war. They were bowmen, and could shoot arrows and sling stones with either the right or the left hand. That's amazing. They were Benjamites, Saul's kinsmen. The chief was Ahiezar, then Joash, both sons of Shema of Gibeah, also Jezreel, 7.5 feet tall. So, man, he's one of the giants. Apelet, the sons of Asmav, Barchikla of Jua, and Anathoth, Ishmaiah of Gibeon, a mighty man among the 30 and a leader of the 30. Jeremiah, Jahaziel, Jaanah, Jozabad of Gerderah, Eluzia, Jeremoth, Bela, sons of Jomar of Geder. From the Gadites, there went over David at the stronghold in the wilderness, mighty and experienced warriors, expert with shield and spear, whose faces were like the faces of lions. By the way, Jaden did the math on the height of that guy, 7.5 feet. The faces like lions who were swift as gazelles upon the mountains. Ezer, the chief of Obadiah, second, Eleb, third, Mishmana, fourth, Jeremiah, fifth, Attai, sixth, Eliel, seventh, Johanna, eighth, Elzabad, ninth, Jeremiah, 10th, Maccabanai, 11th. These Gadites were officers of the army. The least was a match for 100 men, and the greatest for 1,000. These are the men who crossed the Jordan in the first month, when it was overflowing all its banks, and put to fight all those in the valleys to the east and to the west. And some of the men of Benjamin and Judah came to the stronghold to David. David went out to meet them and said to them, "If you have come to me in friendship to help me, my heart will be joined to you. But if you betray me and my adversaries, although there is no wrong in my hands, then may the God of our fathers see and rebuke you." Then the Spirit clothed Amasai, chief of the 30, and he said, "We are yours, O David, and with you, O son of Jesse. Peace, peace be to you, and peace to your helpers, for your God helps you." Then David received them and made them officers of his troops. Some of the men of Manasseh deserted to David, and when he came with the Philistines for the battle against Saul, yet he did not help them, for the rulers of the Philistines took counsel and sent him away, saying, "At peril to our heads he will desert to his master Saul." As he went to Ziklag, these men of Manasseh deserted him: Adnai, Jozabad, Jadiel, Michael, Jozabad. I guess there's two of those guys. Elihu and Zilithai, chiefs of thousands in Manasseh. They helped David against the band of raiders, for they were all mighty men of valor and were commanders in the army. For from day to day men came to David to help him, until there was a great army, like the army of God. These are the numbers of the divisions of the armed troops who came to David in Hebron to turn the kingdoms of Saul over to him, according to the word of the Lord. Then the men of Judah bearing shield and spear were 6,800 armed troops. Of the Shimonites, mighty men of valor of war, 7,100. Of the Levites, 4,600. The prince of Jehoiada, the house of Aaron, and with him 3,700, Zadok, a young man mighty in valor, and 22 commanders from his own father's house. Of the Benjamites, the kinsmen of Saul, 3,000, of whom the majority had to that point kept their allegiance to the house of Saul. Of Ephraimites, 20,800. Mighty men of valor, famous men in their fathers' houses. Of the half-tribe of Manasseh, 18,000 who were expressly named to come and make David king. Of Issachar, men who had understanding of the times to know what Israel ought to do, 200 chiefs, and all their kinsmen under their command. Of Zebulun, 50,000 seasoned troops, equipped for battle with all the weapons of war, to help David with the singleness of purpose. Of Naphtali, 1,000 commanders, in whom there were 37,000 men armed with shield and spear. Of the Danites, 28,600 men equipped for battle. Of Asher, 40,000 seasoned troops ready for battle. Of the Reubenites and the Gadites and the half-tribe of Manasseh from beyond the Jordan, 120,000 men armed with all the weapons of war. All these men of war, arrayed in battle order, came to Hebron with a whole heart to make David king over all Israel. Likewise, all the rest of Israel were of a single mind, to make David king. And they were there with David for 3 days, eating and drinking, for their brothers had made preparation for them, and also their relatives. From as far as Issachar and Zebulun and Naphtali came bringing food on donkeys and camels and on mules and oxen, abundant provisions of flowers, cakes of figs, clusters of raisins and wine and oil, oxen and sheep, for there was joy in Israel. All right, coffee break. What are you guys drinking today? Anybody got some delicious coffee? Maybe some hot tea? Maybe got a cup of milk? Maybe you're eating some cereal, munching on a bagel with some cream cheese, washing it down with some ice cold water. I'm drinking my usual homemade mint mocha. It's like 1.5 or 2 cups of milk, 2 shots of espresso, 3 drops of peppermint extract. Sometimes I do 5. And half a tablespoon of Nesquik. Syrup, not powder. This concludes our intermission. The ark brought from Kirith Jearim. David consulted with the commanders of thousands and of hundreds, with every leader. And David, Cameron, a little slow getting in there. You barely just got it. Nothing right now, but he had coffee with breakfast. Nice. I do like coffee. Tastes pretty good. David consulted with the commanders of thousands and hundreds, with every leader. And David said to all the assembly of Israel, "If it seems good to you and from the Lord our God, let us send arbor to our brothers who remain in all the land of Israel, as well as to the priests and the Levites and in the cities that have pasture lands, that they may be gathered to us. Then let us bring again the ark of our God to us, for we did not seek it in the days of Saul." All the assembly agreed to do so, for the thing was right in the eyes of all the people. So David assembled all Israel from the Nile of Egypt to Lebo Hamath, to bring the ark of God from Kiriath Jearim. And David and all Israel went up to Baalah, that is, to Kiriath Jearim, that belongs to Judah, to bring up from there the ark of God, which is called by the name of the Lord, who sits enthroned above the cherubim. And they carried the ark of God on a new cart from the house of Abinadab and Uzzah, and Ahio. They were driving the cart. And David and all of Israel were celebrating before God with all their might, with song and lyres and harp and tambourines and cymbals and trumpets. And when they came to the threshing floor of Chidon, Uzzah put out his hand to take hold of the ark, for the oxen stumbled, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against Uzzah. And he struck him down because he put his hand out to the ark, and he died there before God. And David was angry because the Lord had broken out against Uzzah. And the place is called Perez Uzzah to this day. And David was afraid of God that day, and he said, "How can I bring the ark of God home to me?" So David did not take the ark home into the city of David, but took it aside to the house of Obed-Edom, the Gittite. And the ark of God remained with the household of Obed-Edom in the house 3 months. And the Lord blessed the household of Obed-Edom and all that he had. So just a quick note, they put it on a new cart, right? And they carried the ark of God on a new cart. But if you recall, remember, we're supposed to be familiar with the Bible as we read through it, because this would have been known right away to anybody who was familiar with the law. Like, you don't carry the Ark of the Covenant on a cart. Like, this is not what you're supposed to do. The Ark of the Covenant is to be carried on poles by the priests, right? They slide it through the rings on the side of the Ark of the Covenant, and they carry it on poles. And so already they're breaking the law. So God could have zapped everyone at this point for doing this incorrectly. But from the house, and so it's going along, and then the oxen stumble, and this dude puts his hand up against the ark, and then he dies, and David gets upset. He's afraid. Whoa, this is crazy. Like, you might be afraid too, but what's going on there? Well, the Spirit of God resides in the ark, right? I think I've given this example before. So God is like the sun, right? The sun is great. The sun is wonderful, like at a distance, because it's so powerful. It keeps us warm, gives us light, does all those wonderful things. But if you get too close to the sun and you're just a human being, like, you're just going to burn up. So God is similar, because we are finite, sinful creatures. If we get too close to God without the covering of Jesus, or in that time without the ceremonial cleansing from going through cleansing rituals and things that the priest did and deemed to be clean and holy enough to enter God's presence, then this is what happens. So he touches the Ark of the Covenant, and he goes down. Now, one thing to remember, a lot of times when you see God like take someone out, or like Ananias and Sapphira, people like this, we as Christians, we believe in eternal life. Like, we believe that whether you believe in God or not, like, all of life lasts forever. And so for somebody who's worshiping God like this, touches the Ark of the Covenant and dies, it's not like God sent this person to hell because he made a mistake or got too close or whatever. No, he just changed locations. So he would have gone from worshiping God on earth to worshiping God in heaven. So God took his human, or his earthly life away, but God didn't murder him or kill him or take his life away. So a lot of people kind of get upset with God when he takes people out. Like, we see several people in the scriptures who get kind of killed by God. This is one of them here, and there's others. But we don't believe that life is over when death happens on earth. We believe that life continues on. So that's something to bear in mind here about Uzzah. I think that's how you say his name. I don't think it's Uzziah. It's just Uzzah. So, all right, let's read one more. We could probably get 2 more chapters out, 14 and 15, and then we'll be done. So we're going to read out David's wives, of course. You're not supposed to have a lot of wives. That's one of the things that we learn in Genesis chapter 2, verse 24, right? That a man shall leave his wife, singular, or his parents, and cling to his wife, so singular. And here we see David's going to kind of go against that, and ultimately it's going to cause him some problems. But let's read. And Hiram, king of Tyre, sent messengers to David, and cedar trees, also masons and carpenters, to build a house for him. And David knew that the Lord had established him as king over Israel, and that kingdom was highly exalted for the sake of his people Israel. And David took more wives in Jerusalem, and David fathered more sons and daughters. These are the names of the children born to him in Jerusalem: Shammah, Shobab, Nathan, Solomon, Ibhar, Elusha, Elpelet, Noga, Nepheg, Japhia, Elishama, Beeladad, and Eliphelet. Eliphelet, I guess. When the Philistines heard that David had been anointed king over Israel, the Philistines went up to search for David. But David heard of it and went out against them. Now the Philistines had come and made a raid in the valley of Rephaim. I guess it's Rephaim. Which is, I need to go back and do a little. I'm going to highlight this real quick, because I want to look at this word, the Rephaim. Because I think, hang on a second. Valley of Rephaim. Yeah, this is interesting. All right, so I'm going to talk about this tomorrow. I'm going to do a little bit of study here. And David inquired of God, "Shall I go up against the Philistines? Will you give them into my hand?" And the Lord said to him, "Go up, and I will give them into your hand." And he went up to Baal Perazim, and David struck them down there. And David said, "God has broken through my enemies, but my hand like a bursting flood." Therefore the name of that place is called Baal Perazim. And they left their gods there, and David gave command, and they were burned. And the Philistines yet again made a raid in the valley. And when David again inquired of God, God said to him, "You shall not go up after them. Go around and come against them opposite the balsam trees. And when you hear the sound of the marching in the tops of the balsam trees, then go out to battle. For God has gone out before you to strike down the army of the Philistines." And David did as God commanded him. And they struck down the Philistine army from Gibeon to Gezer. And the fame of David went out in all the lands, and the Lord brought the fear of him upon all nations. David built houses for himself in the city of David, and he prepared a palace for the ark of God and pitched a tent for it. Then David said that no one but the Levites might carry the ark. Okay, so David's doing it right this time, right? He's got the Levites carrying it. But no one but the Levites might carry the ark of God, for the Lord had chosen them to carry the ark of the Lord, and to minister to him forever. And David assembled all Israel at Jerusalem to bring up the ark of the Lord to its place, which he had prepared for it. And David gathered together the sons of Aaron and the Levites and the sons of Kohath, Uriel the chief with 120 of his brothers, and the sons of Merari. Oh my goodness, all these names. Asaiah the chief with 220 of his brothers, and the son of Gershom, Joel, that's an easy one, the chief with 130 of his brothers, and the sons of Elisaphan, Shemaiah the chief with 200 of his brothers, and the sons of Hebron, Eliel the chief with 80 of his brothers, and the sons of Uzziel, Amminadab the chief with 112 of his brothers. Then David summoned the priests Zadok and Abiathar, and the Levites Uriel, Ashiah, Joel, Shemaiah, Eliel, and Amminadab, and said to them, "You are the heads of the fathers, house of the Levites. Consecrate yourselves, you and your brothers, so that you may bring up the ark of the Lord, the God of Israel, to the place that I have prepared for it. Because you did not carry it the first time, the Lord our God broke out against us, because we did not see him according to the rule." So he's figuring this out. This is great. So the priests and the Levites consecrated themselves to bring up the ark of the Lord, the God of Israel. And the Levites carried the ark of God on their shoulders with poles, as Moses had commanded according to the word of the Lord. See, this is like what we were talking about before. David also commanded the chiefs of the Levites to appoint their brothers as the singers, who should play loudly on musical instruments, on harps and lyres and cymbals. Yeah, they got the drums going. Woo! To raise sounds of joy. So the Levites appointed Herman the son of Joel and his brothers, and Asaph the son of Berechiah, or Chia, and the sons of Merari. I'm terrible at this. Their brothers Ethans and the son of Cushiah, with their brothers in second order, Zechariah, Jaaziel, Shemiramoth, Jehiel, Uni. Okay, there's a lot of names. I'll point out the important ones. So Mechaniah and the gatekeepers, Obed-Edom and Jeriel. The singers, these are the singers, Herman, Asaph, and Ethan, who were to sound bronze cymbals, Zechariah, Aziel, Shemiramoth, Jehiel. Okay, a lot of more names. These guys play harps, according to Alamoth. Okay, they were to lead the lyres, according to Shemith. So this is like the band, man. These are like the members of the band. The leaders of the Levites in music, and they should direct the music, for he understood it. Berechiah and Elkanah were to be gatekeepers for the ark. All right, then this list of people should blow the trumpets before the ark of God. Obed-Edom and Jehiah were to be gatekeepers for the ark. All right, so we have look at the band here. We got cymbal players. All right, so we got singers. We got a whole band going on here. This is awesome. We've got lyres, which are like guitars. Essentially, they're harps, but you could think of them as like the guitars, right? We got harps. What else do we got? Oh, we got a music director. Got a conductor. We got trumpets. These are probably less musical and more just like kind of blasting out the way. So this is amazing. So we have this giant band that's going on, and they're going to bring all the music to the temple. So David and all the elders of Israel and the commanders of the thousands went up to bring the ark of the covenant to the Lord from the house of Obed-Edom with rejoicing. And because God helped the Levites who were carrying the ark of the covenant of the Lord, they sacrificed 7 bulls with 7 rams. David was clothed with a robe of fine linen, and also were all the Levites who were carrying the ark, and the singers, and the Chiraniah, the leader of the music of the singers. And David wore a linen ephod. So all Israel brought up the ark of the covenant to the Lord with shouting, the sound of the horn, trumpets, and cymbals, and made loud music on harps and lyres. And as the ark of the covenant of the Lord came to the city of David, Michal, the daughter of Saul, looked out the window and saw King David dancing and celebrating, and she despised him in her heart. All right, boys and girls, that's where we're going to stop for today. So, thanks for joining me this morning and checking out some more of the Bible. So we're rolling along. We're in First Chronicles chapter 16. Sorry about all those names, man. I struggle with those Hebrew names. I'm trying my best, but some of them are not easy. Yeah. So, if you could help me out with this video, if you're in here, you can like this video, which looks like most of you guys have. You can share this video with somebody. You can also leave a comment, not like just a chat thing right up here, but you can leave a comment down below that, just says like, hey, great video, or with a question or something like that. And that's just to help a ranking signal or factor to YouTube. And we'll try to see if we can get more people coming and hearing the Word of God and hanging out with us. That'd be really cool. So thanks for hanging out with me today and listening to the Word. I will see you guys tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, same time as we usually do. And I hope you have a wonderful day. We are going to meet for youth group tonight, 6 o'clock, NPR. Be here. We're going to continue our series on, did you see that? All right. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Peace.